Welcome to Why They Play the Game, a show created to discuss the NBA on and off the court. I'm just one of your co-hosts, Michael Eric Owens.
And I'm Ken Hayes.
Oh, my brother, how you doing today?
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
Man, I'm doing all right, folks. Hey, listen, before we even get into this, I'm gonna tell you to go ahead and hit that like button, that subscribe button, and that notification
That's
so that
right.
you can get all our content because the season has officially started, Ken. So we had massive news. Um, James Harden got his way and got to the Los Angeles Clippers. What was I guess, man, what are your thoughts, Ken?
I think Philly didn't have a choice in the matter because it was distraction. Um, they wouldn't let him on the plane, even though they told him to, let's just say, keep working out at the practice facility. He started complaining about that. And when you come into practice and then you got to talk to the media, that's going to be the subject of hand. What do you think about James not showing up to practice for the last two practices, or how is your team going to be without James, and do you
Mm-hmm.
think he's going to be on the team for the rest of the season? The players be looking like, don't y'all want to know about how we doing? Not James,
Yeah.
you know. So Philly, they did the right thing to try to get rid of him as quick as possible. When I heard the news come down, it was a given. And I will get more into details, but it's just that James is out for himself. Let's just say Brooklyn, Houston, and now Philly. So it's kind of sad to me, to be honest with you. But the Clippers think that it's going to improve their team, so we have to, let's just say, wait and see what happens with that. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't really see any true improvement in LA as far as adding James. To me, they have with James, you know, a bunch of guards
Mm.
that can shoot. I think to me, the player, I'll be honest, players look kind of playing really well is Westbrook.
Yeah.
I mean, I know
Yeah.
it's a short sample size as far as
Mm-hmm.
games is
Mm-hmm.
concerned, but I mean, his attitude, the way he looks, what he's trying to do for the team. So
Yeah, Westbrook was solid most of the year last year for them. And
yeah,
so yeah, again, we've talked about James and Ken. I just don't know. I don't know how you trust the guy. And this is not trying to take a personal shot at him, but he has not, he's bailed on when he is what we want to say displeased, or he feels like, and he made a statement too that really bothered me. And Joel Embiid commented on it. And I thought, one thing, the difference between the Sixers reaction with him versus Ben Simmons is they took the high road. You
right,
hear
they
a lot
did.
of them saying, well, James was professional and he's a great player. He's this, that, and the other, because they understood how much that hurt them. And so um, James said that he couldn't be himself in Philly. He said he
Stop.
couldn't, they wanted him to play another way. And Embiid, rightly so, pointed out the fact that he had the ball
Had
every possession.
every possession. He probably had the
Like,
ball when he was on the bench.
exactly. And so Joel was like, well, I really don't understand, because he had the ball every possession. We put it in his hands. He could have did what he wanted
But
to
he's
do
right.
with it.
And he was doing
Yeah,
what he wanted to do. Come on,
exactly.
man.
And this man say he couldn't be himself. So man, I just don't, for me, man, I I'm gonna say what Kendrick Perkins said, pray for Ty Lue, because because man, I'm here to tell. I don't know how you. James made a comment that he can play off the ball. No, you can't.
No.
Stop it. Okay, you have never played off the ball. You are ball dominant. Okay, one of the more I mean, you on Luka's level. Okay,
Yeah,
let's just keep it honest, man. You are all the action is running through you, and I just don't know, Ken, how that's gonna work when you have Westbrook, who also, but Westbrook is learning how to play more off the ball because he's been forced to being and being with LA first, the Lakers first, and then now being with the Clippers. He's been forced to kind of learn how to cut and play off the ball and spot up, right? So that's been, I think, to Russ's advantage as he's played with the Clippers because he's gotten more comfortable with that.
right.
James ain't did that. So Ken, how is and Ken, let me just say this. When we see these teams that come together, even this stuff I'm hearing about Milwaukee, man, is it a disaster and this, that, and the other thing? Man, we can go back in history, people. All right. If you watch basketball, you know that when you bring on great players, it takes a moment. What's happening with Phoenix right now? They got
Struggling.
the brakes beat off them. Okay. And like, if they had it together, Devin Booker with Kevin Durant on the same team, they not losing by 20. It's an adjustment. They have to figure out how to, just because they're great players, that don't mean that they know exactly what they're doing on that court with each other. Milwaukee's having those struggles now.
Struggle, right?
But when you see it come together though, it's dynamic. Even in the games where Milwaukee has won, when you've seen it come together, man, you've seen the action. You're like, oh man, that's different, right?
Right.
Um, so I just think for the Clippers, again, too many players that do the same
Same
thing.
thing, right?
So what about Norman Powell now?
His money's
He
gonna get
used
his money's gonna get cut, and I think we'll talk about a little later the game between the Clippers and the Lakers,
mm-hmm,
but he played a solid game. Um,
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Man, his minutes are gonna get cut too. So I just think that and then the other thing, in which let me make this point before I get lost, is that they're losing a lot of, let's just say, depth as far as their
Mm-hmm.
bench is concerned, and defense and
Mm-hmm.
rebounding.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think the Clippers are one, let's just say, injury away from a losing season,
It's
in
over.
which you know. But
Yeah.
the other thing also, in which a lot of people don't talk about, is that Leonard, George, and Harden can be free agents at the end of the season.
Exactly.
So, what are you going to do? And
Exactly. And all three of those, okay, or you're looking at Leonard, especially Harden, who are in precarious positions. Leonard's with his injuries. So that means his paydays are
could be gone.
coming, they dwindling down. He might only get another big payday. Same thing with James. So what they gonna be asking for, Ken?
That extension, or
Big
and
money.
then and the thing about it is that I'll say this: um, Harden, if he doesn't produce the way that, let's just say, the expectations are in LA, I don't think he's going to get that extension, and I don't think he will get the extension through in the year. That's me saying that.
So do you think James Harden will be on the Clippers next year?
It's going to depend on how well he plays, and how the thing about it is that I think he's going to be on his best behavior in LA. The team guy,
Mm-hmm.
instead of
Mm-hmm.
being the
Mm-hmm.
um the guy. So
Yeah.
at the end of the season, teams are always looking for a guy who can shoot, and things like that. But I just the Clippers. It could get busted up, at the end of the year.
I think the only way James stays on the Clippers, if and I knock on wood, if I got wood around here, if there is an injury to Kawhi or Paul where he gets to be out there and really showcase and score and carry the team and this, that, and the other thing. I think if they stay remotely healthy, oh, he won't be because he's just he. I think it's going to be a disaster. I'm just going to be honest with you, Ken. I just don't think. I think the Clippers, um, what they need from because he was basically an insurance policy, right? So if we lose one of these guys, we got another guy that can score. That's really what's on the Clippers' mind. Like they just we know we cannot depend on because if you had Paul George, a healthy Paul George, you could depend on a healthy Kawhi Leonard and Russell. You wouldn't get James Harden. It's because you want that insurance policy. Like we know these dudes are not going to be
Right.
able to play a whole season, and we might lose them for the playoffs. So we want to be competitive. So we need to go after this, and I just don't think it. I don't think it makes them better. I think it makes them redundant at
Okay.
best. And I just like you say, you're going to chop into the minutes of guys that have been productive, that guys you're going to really need, that guys that are unselfish. Like Powell is unselfish.
Yeah.
And Terrence Mann is
Man.
unselfish. Like
But
you bring it. Go ahead,
let me
Ken.
let me throw this into the mix too. I'm gonna use what you just said, competitive. Now you know the Clippers are building a brand new
Yeah,
arena, so they want to stay somewhat a level of competitiveness within the NBA. So fans gonna come anyway. But if
yeah,
they competitive,
yeah,
sell out every night and things like that,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah.
it's a business. So you got to take into factor that too. So, but
That's true. Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
I'm happy for Philly. Like you said, I'm happy for them, man. I hate to see that happen to them. Basically, you know, within the last 3 years, they've had this repeated thing that happened to them. So,
That revolving door.
revolving door, man, and hopefully, you know, they will be able to, just come together as a team and hearing Tyrese Maxey talk about it and how they just kept focused and stayed focused, and he really talked about how Coach Nurse, and Embiid really just kind of, kept everybody focused, man, and didn't get caught up in that sort of drama. But I agree with you, Ken. They got it done early like they should have. They
Oh
should not
yeah.
have let this drag out because I think eventually, as you said, with the questions, it, that was not sustainable. So let's talk a little bit about that Clippers Lakers game. That's that, folks. We're doing something called the game of the week. And so this is our game of the week. This past week, um, the Clippers and the Lakers. Always an exciting rivalry, in
Right.
in building rivalry.
Right. That too.
Right. So man, what did you think?
That's probably, to be honest, Mike, that probably was the best game that I've watched
Mm,
since the season started.
okay.
Very competitive. Um, Clippers usually have the Lakers number for, let's just say,
Hmm.
for whatever reason.
Yeah, they
But
do.
good game. Leonard started out just smoking. Yeah, I think at one time he was like 6 out of 7. He cooled off like in the second half, that second quarter, third quarter, a little, then get it back going. Paul George um, had a nice game. Fouled out, but
That's what hurt him. That's what hurt
yeah,
him.
it did. And but he had it going too. On the opposite side, LeBron played a lot of minutes, unfortunately, but
Again.
right again, but had a nice game. Hit some threes, some big threes. AD, and the first half he was quiet. And I was
Hmm.
just like,
Hmm.
because that's what I'm always watching to see. Let's just say the energy from AD.
Yeah.
If it's high energy from AD, Lakers play well. If it's low,
Mm,
they don't.
yeah.
Um, First half, it looked like he was sleepwalking. Second half, he
Hmm.
got together and they started going to him a little bit more. I just think that if the Lakers really want to, let's just say, have a better chance at winning on a consistent basis, they have to go down low to AD.
Yeah.
And then because that gives their shooters, just say spot up jumpers, open jumpers, I put it that way. Um came didn't I'm surprised that it went into overtime, but it was just like a kind of fluke. But in overtime, George fouled out, and after that, it was a
Yeah.
little bit over for them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, Russ played a good game
oh
too.
yeah,
Yeah, he played a good game, man. And this is what I think, because, like you say, the Clippers have the Lakers number for some reason, man. They just they just I don't know, but the King said not today. Okay, he went back in vintage. He went back and put on the old sneakers. he might have put on he might have put on the old the old underwear. I don't know what he put on, but whatever he put on, man, he came out to ball. Okay. He was like, no, not tonight. I'm gonna give you vintage Bron. And like you say, Ken, he was aggressive. He was facilitating. I think at half, he probably said something to AD like, man, come on, bro. No. No. We're not losing this, man. We losing these cats all the time, man. Come on. And AD, got it moving, and the supporting cast did real well. Like you said, it was a great game. It was a great game.
I tell you, what in my mind what made LA win that game was D'Angelo Russell.
Oh, he
He had
did. Yeah,
27.
he did.
That
He
I'm
did.
like, man, I'm looking at him like, where you been?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if they,
Yeah.
if they can get that, I'm gonna use that word again, consistent scoring from him, and not have him fade out the game. I'll put it that way. The Lakers would be in good shape and reduce some of the minutes that LeBron is playing.
That ain't gonna happen.
Well, they
Okay.
need
He might have 2 the next game. See, this is what
right.
I'm gonna say. And see, this is why Russell's able to get over, because he wasn't being challenged, man. Defensively, see, that's what teams normally do to him. They just beat him up defensively. They put him in pick and roll. They put him in this. They put him in that. And with Kawhi taking more of the shots, Paul George taking more of the shots, Russ now either gonna beat you off the dribble or he's gonna be in the lanes. D'Angelo really didn't have that huge defensive assignment. And so I think he got comfortable. Oh, he looked good. Don't get me wrong. I like D'Angelo Russell. I always have liked him, man. Like Ken, I always say he like you. He a left-hand assassin. I love that. But I just feel like he's never developed his game on the defensive end. And so to me, when it comes playoff time, you just a liability, because I'm gonna put you in the pick and roll with Murray and Jokic, and then you're gonna be where? You're gonna be chasing, or you're gonna be stuck on Jokic. So he's not that type of dude that when in those deep moments in the playoffs where you can really count on him. But I thought he was fantastic. I thought he and he is the type of dude, once he gets going, oh man, he closes his eyes and throw it up. I mean,
Yeah,
let's be honest. I mean, once he get hot, man, he he come down and he's so smooth. He'll fade on you, man. He can go right and left. Oh yeah, he got some bag
yeah.
now. But yeah, I thought it was a great game too.
Powell, he had a nice game. He had 12
Mm,
points.
mm.
I think he played I want to say about 28, 30 minutes. Um, Gave them what they needed as far as the Clippers are concerned. Would Harden, as we said earlier, with Harden coming over there, what happens to, Norman?
Man, and Ken Norman is one of those dudes where he could be starting somewhere, man. I
Right,
mean,
exactly. Yes.
he cold, man. I'm like no instant bucket, man.
Right.
Just like I'm like, he put so much pressure on the defense, because when Powell come in the game,
This
uh
is going up.
man, it's like, man, I gotta pick this dude up, man. Like,
Remind me of Vinnie Johnson.
oh, absolutely, man. The microwave,
Right.
as soon as I come in, oh no, man, I gotta hold this dude. And only thing on his mind is getting buckets.
Right.
you know. So yeah, man, I love Norman Powell, man. And I just think, yes. And so who's gonna start? James? Russ?
you know, Westbrook, I would leave him in the starting lineup if it was
Can
up to me. And let me say why I say that. You know how Russ is. Let's just say,
exactly.
so you take him out that starting road, starting lineup. You're gonna be looking at the down the bench like, oh, you pouting right about now. You got to keep Russ engaged.
But bro,
And
do you think
I know,
James gonna be any different if he come off the bench? Really? I think his attitude might be worse.
yeah,
And you know the thing, they go way back, man. They knew one another when they were kids at the Boys and Girls Club.
I know, right?
And so they have known each other all their life, man. So I don't know, man. Although you cool, you still got some competition though, bro. You
Oh
know what I mean? You
man,
you still
Ugh.
like, come on, man. You my boy, but Ken, I want to be starting though.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
He
Like,
getting more minutes than I am. Nah,
yeah, yeah. So
So that's gonna be interesting.
it's gonna be very interesting, man. And did you hear Doc Rivers? They asked Doc Rivers what he thought happened with James, and he said when he did not make the All-Star game, his attitude completely changed. He
Mm,
said it was almost like night and day. He said when he said you could when he did not make the and he said matter of fact James called him shortly after that and said he want to start playing more time with the second unit.
really?
So what does that mean, Ken? More shots. Okay, more solo.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he called Doc and said, yeah, I want to start playing more time. Doc said he knew what time it was then because why you want to play more with the second unit? You don't want to play with the MVP? Why? Because that's what I'm trying to say, man. When Harden can talk about all sacrifice and we've been in the league and we've been that. Harden has a huge ego. That's why he could not get over the fact that the deal had changed and Morey had not been truthful with him. But young brother, let me just tell you something in life. There's a lot of situations where folks are not truthful with you, and you just have to deal with it and keep it moving, right? Because it's the right thing for you to do. See, you can't always make other people do the right thing, Ken. You know this, right? I'm
Right.
preaching to the choir. You have to do the right thing yourself. You should have stayed there with those players, your brothers in arms that supported you, that stood by you. They didn't have nothing to do with management.
Nope.
And so somebody can make a counter argument and say money, this, that, and the other thing. But how much money do you need? Let's just be
Yeah,
real, Ken.
Mike. He done made his money when he was in Houston. I mean, let's be honest with. I mean, the thing about to me, and when the let's just say rumor mill about him going to Philly. I mean, players were like, "Yeah, bring him on." We'll take
Mm-hmm,
James.
mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
gets there, and it collapses, and now But like you said, you have to give Philly credit that hey, you tried to make it work with them. Best of luck, and see you down the road. So
Man, and I like watching the Clippers, man. I'm gonna have a difficult time watching James there. And and the only reason why I'm gonna say that, Ken, I just got a bitter taste in my mouth, man. I'm not mad at the brother, man, because I know every man got to make his own decisions. And I respect that, but
okay,
I just think for me, and I'm a little bit more about loyalty, Ken. I'm just gonna keep it real, like, and maybe again, I'm not in a position to. I'm not making millions and millions of dollars, right?
right,
And maybe I'm speaking of someone that I don't have knowledge of, but from my vantage point, I think there's something about loyalty, getting paid, but also being loyal to an organization. And I didn't see him hop from OKC, Houston, from Brooklyn, and now from Philly. Do I expect for him to be loyal?
no,
Oh no. What if things don't go right for him there? What's he gonna do? Well, the pattern says I'm gonna quit on you, right?
yeah, right,
I mean, so I don't know. I'm gonna watch it, man, but I don't know, man. I wish better for the brother, and I don't know. Can James Harden redeem his legacy? Because okay. First of all, hold on, Ken. Before you answer that, let me give you another question. What is his legacy in your opinion right now?
um, if he doesn't get his way, he wants to move on. That's his. I mean, great shooter, um, great player, no doubt about it. But I think that what happened to James is when he got to Houston, he had so much control. He dictated what was happening in that organization, up, down, left, and right.
Mm.
He did. And the
Yeah.
thing about it is that, when they started, let's just say, um, not being competitive, then then everybody's looking at James like, well, you got all this control. What's going on? Then, well, I want out,
Mm.
so I want to get traded. I'm gonna force my way out.
Yeah.
So that to me, that's his legacy of I'm not thinking about anybody else except myself. But when he was with OKC, and which I know this was earlier in his career, you had Russell, you had Durant that kind of to cover, him because he was coming off the bench. I think he won Six Man of the Year in
Oh yeah. He
OKC.
was
Yeah, you're right.
he was cold coming off the bench.
But the consistent thing with James, playoff time, he on the milk carton as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah,
Even
it is that history, right?
right, and when they went to the finals against what was it, Miami?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
OKC.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't play well in the finals.
Yeah. No. No. No.
So,
No. 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 No.
in
No.
big time games, you be like, when I say big time games, I'm talking about, playoffs, things like that. Regular season, you do your thing, there's really not that much pressure. It's just, one game and you move on to the next one. Playoffs is either, you moving on, or you going fishing. So,
Exactly.
and he did a lot of fishing.
He did a lot of fishing, but he had
So
bass and speckled trout, and he had tilapia, he had catfish.
right.
Yeah, he had it all. He had plenty summers to do that.
So, in the big moments, you say to yourself, how did he perform? So, on one end, it's just like it's all about me. But seeing that I'm not producing in the big time games, I still want to get what I think I deserve.
Yeah, I co-sign on everything you said, man. I mean, a lot, some of those playoffs games, when I look back at it, James was such a focal point of some of those teams that I understood some of the struggles because they would blitz and they would double him and they would make it difficult for him. But man, when you got to places like Brooklyn, when you got to places like, I know he had the hamstring injury there, but when you got to Philly, you playing with the MVP. Like you're gonna have a lot of one-on-one situations where you can expose people and do what you need to do. I thought if we're gonna see a true test of his metal, was that time, and we've seen him shrink each and every time in the playoffs, man. And just, it is what it is. I mean, this is not to say he a terrible player because he's not.
Oh no,
Again, James is a baller. But great players, okay? They perform at the highest level. And they look forward to those moments, right? The see you later moments, I got your fishing pole right here with your name on it moments. And he has not been there, man. And I don't think he will be. I mean, the past is a great predictor of the future. And that's what you got for past results. And you have what? 13 years, right? He's been in the league, I think 13 years.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I think 13 years, right? So if you've been in the league, that's a pretty good sample size of what you're
but
gonna give me.
but the other thing that people don't really focus on, James has never kept himself, let's just
Mm,
say, in condition or took
yeah,
care of his body. I mean,
yeah,
I don't expect him to be like, LeBron and spend millions of dollars,
yeah,
but but being in shape, when you come into camp and you're not in shape and you takes you about, let's just say, 10, 15, 20 games to get, in game shape. That's the other thing too. So
yeah, yeah.
and he,
Well, they said he came in shape this year, so we'll We'll see
Okay.
what's gonna happen with the Clippers, man. I just again, I don't know what the thinking was, other than we need a safety net if something happens to one of our true stars. But beyond that, Ken, I don't know. Like you say, I'm very curious about whether he's going to start. What does it mean for the other people surrounding him? And so we just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But great game, great win by LA, and the King showed you I still can get out there and ball. Okay. Don't get it
Yeah.
twisted. I can still get out there and do my thing, man. I was like, man, this is ridiculous, man. Sit down, King. Take the crown off, baby. You gotta put it down sometime. You was like, not tonight, Mike. I'm going to work. And he
Yeah.
did. And
Yeah, he went to work.
I'm gonna take, oh man, I'm gonna take my hat to him, Ken.
What's gonna happen the next game though?
That's the thing. Cause we do know, man, as great as LeBron is, you just can't. That was our concern all, even at the beginning of the season, Ken. We talked about how many minutes is LeBron gonna be playing. And the fact that he's playing high 30-minute
Yeah.
games, nah, man. He can't sustain that, not for 82 games.
No.
And so I just, without getting injured. Now, if he
Right.
get
Yeah.
injured, oh man.
Um,
Man, the Lakers, and the thing, what's so sad about the Lakers is when you look at them, they are a contending team with LeBron. Without him,
no.
they probably, they might, I don't even know if they're a play-in team. That's how serious the drop-off is, man, because we haven't seen, can Anthony Davis carry them to the Western Conference Final by himself?
Nope. He can't.
No,
No.
no. LeBron is such a huge piece, man, for them at age 39. Change is coming, baby. It's inevitable. And what's gonna happen when the King got to walk away? Man, it don't look good. I'm just
No,
gonna
it
put it
doesn't.
to you like that. It doesn't look good. So, Ken, it just shift gears for a minute. Have you had a chance to watch any of the in-season tournament games?
Well, I watched the New York Milwaukee game last night.
Yes, sir.
Went back and forth. Dame hit a nice three to kind of clinch the victory for him. They're struggling on defense, but as far as the game was competitive game, uh, but I still don't get this in tournament season whatever they
Mm,
want to call it.
yeah,
I just think that
in-season tournament.
maybe they should have just give some incentives for the teams with the best record before the All-Star break. I bet you if they said I give you $1 million for each team member, at the All-Star break, if you first, second, or third in your conference, I bet.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, yeah, something like that. But
Yeah,
they're trying to make it entertaining. The new floors. I watched the
yeah. Oh,
Denver
that,
and
man.
uh, Dallas game last night.
Yeah.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
Denver looked good, even though they the refs kind of gave them some calls last night. But besides that, I mean, as far as they just picked up from last year,
Yeah.
so Luka
Yeah.
playing out of his mind. I think he averaging,
He double, bro.
yeah. I'm like, man, and they
Yeah.
look back. And Kyrie, I look first half he was a little passive, but
Mm.
he Kyrie a bad boy. I don't know, man. This cat is just unbelievable
He,
sometimes, man.
he
So
is, man. His skill set is just way on another level, man. I mean, really, what the way Kyrie can get to his spots and pull up and maneuver, his footwork is impeccable. I mean, him and like Brunson, and Brunson's more as a jump stop, but Kyrie is more on the move footwork, where he's able to just like step around you and step back and spin and the English off the glass. I mean, again, his talent is just off the chain, bro. When you see him play, because every time Kyrie get the ball, he dangerous.
yeah,
Every
so
he dangerous, man. And so yeah, Ken, it was interesting. Some of the floors were a little too much to handle. Yeah, I was
just
like,
that. that Denver. I'm like,
Oh man, I was like, man, who thought of that? That's just too blue, bright, and you know,
and I think
and
each
I
team
you
has a
know,
new uniform.
yeah, they
Yeah,
they
yeah,
they had
yeah.
I think the city edition and the Bucks, yeah, that was some sharp uniforms. I could dig it. And you echo what Dame said after the game. Dame said, "Well, I don't, he said I really don't know how to feel about it. He said it's something new. He said the new uniforms. He said, the new court, and he said it's just, the atmosphere was a little bit different. But he said we're still trying to figure it out as players. He
Right,
said, but we know we want to be in Vegas though,
right. Yeah,
because each player get that $500,000 bonus.
bonus, right?
Okay, so I know they're millionaires, but $500,000 is nothing to it's nothing to
Sneeze
turn
at.
down.
Right. I'll
and,
take
and
that.
and especially because Ken, they say that even the dudes that on the two-way contract get it.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah, so that's where a lot of they said, man, because I remember, Dame was talking about how they want to do this even for them because they're part of the group. So if they win, man, that's a nice payday for somebody on a two-way contract, bro. $500,000.
Yeah,
Oh
I'll
yeah,
take
yeah, yeah.
that.
I'm trying to get I'm trying to forward the two-way contract. How much gonna be standing in line? Who is this dude? Yeah, man. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting to see what goes down. And I did get a chance to see Victor, as we mentioned before. Can
Playing well.
Man,
Rookie of the
he had
year.
what, like 38.
Yeah,
Uh,
against Phoenix.
oh yeah, double. Man, he did it all. I
Yeah.
mean, let's just be honest. He had blocks, rebounds, assists. He shot
Score.
well from the three. He was dunking on people.
Yeah,
Was like
he played. Yeah,
they
I
alley
was.
oop. He caught that one, bro. He just guided it in. I was like, nah, bro. Once this dude figures it out and he stays healthy, can it?
Ain't no stopping him.
What can you do? You can He can shoot over anybody at any time. And his length is so long, man. This dude is a lethal weapon. The only question again is, can he stay healthy? We see him early now. I want to see Victor when we get to 40, 50 games. That's what I
Okay.
want to see, because I don't think he ever has played that many games in a season, right? Usually they're playing 30, 35, 40 games overseas. They're playing 82 games. So I want to see when he gets to 40, 60, what is going, because he's going to be an all-star this year.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, he's
yeah.
going to be an all-star this year. And I have to say, man, I am not disappointed in that dude. That dude he's something special, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
seven
hope
four.
they can do all that.
Man, that's
What they say,
ridiculous.
unicorn, huh?
Man, and he shoots well from the foul line. So he the real deal, man. If folks out there was wondering whether or not this guy could make it in the NBA, the only thing that's going to slow Victor down is injuries, because he seems to be the type of kid where he's got the drive, he's got the respect for the game, he's got the respect for the coach. He seems to be a great teammate where he wants to win. So would we think that San Antonio would beat Phoenix twice?
Man, no. Mm-mm.
Even,
And
just with
Booker,
Kevin alone.
right? Yeah, and then Booker played us. He played that second
Yes,
game
sir.
they play. Yeah,
Yes,
so
sir. And they got blowed
right,
out.
they got spanked.
Again, another thing Phoenix is going to have to adjust. And Bradley Beal has not even played a game yet.
Hasn't suited up.
It's back.
Ooh,
So
that's not good. But
be
hopefully it get better and join a team or where he can play and show his talents and Phoenix can be full strength.
well, I'm gonna say like this. Okay, without him, Phoenix is gonna have a tough time with him, simply because of the lack of their bench, the depth that they have. but without him, Phoenix is in trouble. And on the same line, Ken, Durant's playing too many minutes.
Yeah, he's getting up in age where I think that he needs to cut back on his minutes too. I, in my opinion, I'll say this: I think that as as we talk about in NBA, who team it is, this should be Booker's team, as far as I'm
Exactly.
concerned. But
Exactly. Exactly.
I think Durant is, like you said, playing too many minutes, and he needs to cut back. You know, because Father Time catches up with everybody, as I always say.
Yeah.
So,
It catches up with everybody. And Durant has been in um this is his 17th year.
oh my, yeah, oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Durant not no spring chicken. That's what people
no,
don't understand. And people talk about, well, Victor, this, but you have to remind people, Kevin been in 17 years, and also Kevin has some major injuries. He had
oh
Achilles
yeah,
tendon.
right,
Okay, that's serious. And for Kevin to come back off of that, I had that Achilles tendon injury. I'm here to tell you, I'm not even in that age group. And so I'm here to tell you, even with that, man, for him to come back and be as great as he is amazing.
yeah,
And this is year 17 for him. So he's not a young guy. So I don't that Victor could go out there and do what he do. He's 7'4". He's what? What is Victor? 19? 20
at
at the
that,
most?
right, yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So no. We but that's good to see that San Antonio is competing though.
oh
Because
yeah.
I like to see that. So in closing, Ken, I want to talk about your man, Zion Williamson.
Oh man. Reports. Well, I wouldn't even say reports. They just said it that I think they played on a Thursday. I think the next game he won't be playing. He's going to get some rest. I mean, Zion, what, 23, 24?
23, bro.
Okay. And you need to rest him. So
What
what is?
they play 4 games in the season and he needs to rest?
I don't get him, Mike. I'll say this, that maybe he is. Let's just say his injuries are more severe than what they're letting on. I I just don't get it.
It you that assumption, Ken, would have to be made. Because you can't tell me on game 5 that this 23-year dude that's been out for what? Like a full season needs
Yeah,
to rest, not
rest.
limit his minutes, but rest. Come on, man. At 23, I wasn't even thinking about being tired. Like, what's tired? At 23? And you a professional athlete and you
and they
need
said
rest.
and they said he came in the best shape, since he's been in the NBA.
Stop it.
So I
Come
don't
on,
know.
man. Man, that to me, that's a terrible look. The octaves on that,
Mhm.
like what? Like you can. I'm like, there gotta be something else wrong, man, because you don't sit somebody, man. Like what? He's been playing well. I mean, he's been
Right.
engaged. He's been playing well, man. And again, the NBA did that study, Ken, and we should talk about that sometime on the show where there is no evidence that resting a player makes a difference. Right? There is the NBA did this extensive study, man, and that's why they came out with these new rules because there is no science that supports rest or load management.
Okay.
It's ridiculous, man. It's like you need to be. Why do players when they get off they get on the bike and they keep moving? That's part of staying at an optimal place to put your body to certain stressors and this and that. And when you just sit and rest, and Ken, during the NBA season, practice is not the same.
No.
Oh
No.
no, you do not have intense practices. Every
No.
now and then you might have, but you're gonna have more. Even before the last game, Giannis didn't practice. He didn't come to practice, and Dame was out for personal reasons. So
Mhm.
you have these situations where you're not going to be locked. That's what training camp is for, to
Right.
lock in, to play hard. Now is season. So you ain't even having difficult practices and you need rest? Man.
Uh, Practicing
Man.
is really more working on your, let's just say, your shot, your spots, walk through, going through, maybe different plays, different setups, you know, game time situations. That's about it. You know.
Hey, Ken, wasn't it AI Iverson that said, practice? You
Practice.
talking to me about practice? And I'm going out
uh,
there getting 40 in the game. Really?
right,
Practice?
right,
He was telling people didn't get that, but he was telling the truth. He was like, we don't even practice, man.
right.
We just shoot around. You know what I'm saying? We may work guards work together and we may work on this, but man, this is not that serious. That was
Oh my goodness.
crazy. But yeah, Ken. So listen, we got some games coming up here this weekend, and we folks, we're gonna pick a game of the week and we announce it on our Facebook page. So be looking out for that and check out that game. And we want to hear your commentary on that game. Let us know what
Right.
your thoughts are, because the season start and it is it's gonna be a good year, man. It's gonna be a competitive year, Ken. I
Yeah.
don't it's but I will say this, as you have mentioned, man, Denver looks like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to
They do.
disrupt
Right.
what they do. They look. I
They look
just
good.
think, I just think in the clutch times they're gonna miss somebody like Bruce Brown.
Oh, definitely.
That's what I
Definitely.
think.
Yeah.
I think regular season you ain't gonna be able to do too much with them. But I think when the game slows down, I think they're gonna lose that when Murray has more pressure on him. Jokic is getting doubled. Michael Porter Jr., like you say, bro, he can be on the milk carton too.
Yeah.
Okay, he can go south on you too. So we'll see. But the champs look great.
They
You
look
know what I'm
good.
saying? Hey,
They
hey,
look
hey.
hungry.
Yeah, I'm gonna give them that. But hey, the deer. We gonna get it together, folks. As always, man. This is just man. This is a great time of year for basketball kicking off. The world of sports unites us, folks. Let us take this unity in our everyday life. This is why they play the game.